Revelation chapter 10 gives us this amazing mystery of this mighty angel. We see him in Revelation chapter 10, and if we read it real quick, and I saw a mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face were as the sun, his feet were as pillars of fire. He had in his right hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth, and he cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roars. When he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven say, seal up those things which the 7 thunders have uttered. Write them not. And the angel which I saw stood upon the sea and upon the earth, and lifted up his hand to heaven, and swore by him that lived forever, who created the heavens and the things that are therein, the earth and the things that are in, the sea and the things that are in, that there should be time no longer. Okay? But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he declared to his servants, the prophets. Okay? So, who is this angel? What is going on here? What is his message? What is his role? Why do we concern ourselves with this messenger? Okay, with this angel, this mighty angel. Well, guys, basically, we must ask ourselves, who is this? What is their role? What do they have to say? And what are they doing? Okay? And as we go throughout the book of Revelation, many of these principalities and powers are being made known to the Apostle John that existed throughout history. Throughout all of history, these angels had visitations and with men and had roles in the Holy Scriptures, releasing messages from heaven. So that's what this angel is doing, okay? And we're going to have a few messages on who is this, what is his role, okay? But when we go to Ephesians chapter 3, verse 10, to the intent that now unto the principalities and powers in heavenly places might be known. Okay, so it's for a certain time. And it's the time now that the book is sealed. Okay, the thunders are sealed until the time that they happen. Okay? So to the intent that now the principalities and powers in heavenly places would be known by the ecclesia, the assembly, the manifold wisdom of God. Okay, so throughout the scriptures we have all these messengers, angels, and different things. In this video, we're going to look at Revelation 10. Who is this? Okay, what is their role? What is their message? Well, let's first look in the book of Revelation. We'll find 4 examples of this angel. Okay, now we find them by looking up the original Greek word, which is iskros or something like that in the Greek. I may not be pronouncing that correctly, but that is the word for mighty. Okay, and then it's angel. Okay, so this mighty angel. So we see this expression, mighty angel, used a few times in the book of Revelation. For example, Revelation 5:1, I saw in the right hand of him that sat upon the throne a book written on the backside sealed with 7 seals. So in a similar fashion where we see the one seated on the throne with the book open, okay, we see the same thing with this angel in Revelation 10. And then verse 2, and I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice. So we have a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice. The word strong is iskros in the Greek. So it's the same angel that we saw in Revelation 10. The strong angel proclaiming with the loud voice. Who is worthy to open the book? Okay, the book is closed. Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals? Okay, so the book is in the right hand of him and the book is closed. Okay, then in Revelation 10, we see the same angel with the book open. Why? Because the Lamb is the only one worthy to open the book, open the seals. Okay, so we consider that to be this angel because of this word strong or mighty angel. Now we also see this word used in Revelation 18. And again, because this word is used and the angel, we consider this the same person. Revelation 18:21, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone. So he took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. Okay, saying, with violence shall the great city of Babylon be thrown down. Okay, so remember before he had his foot in the sea, here he has a stone, but it's this mighty angel. So we consider this, and we'll see throughout our study that this is in fact the same person. So there we see 3 examples of him. There's one more we're going to get into later in the study, okay? But we have some hidden things. We have thunders that are sealed, okay? We have a book that is open. So some of these things are only in the time of the 7th trumpet. Remember, it talked about the days of the 7th trumpet in Revelation 10, okay? Now, who is it? Well, let's just call him by his name. All right, so let's go and we'll make I'll make all the verses available to you guys so you guys can see all this. It's not going to be a hard study, but we see his name in Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. I will send my angel, and he shall prepare the way before me, the Lord whom you whom you seek. Okay? Now, Lord here in the Hebrew is Adon. It's not Yahweh. Okay? It's Adon, and that can be a person of honor or respect, but it's not Yahweh. It's not Elohim. Who you seek, he shall suddenly come into the temple, even the angel of the covenant. Now the King James will say messenger of the covenant, but the original Hebrew word for messenger is malak, okay, which is an angel. It can be translated messenger, yes, but because this is Adon, Lord, okay, it's like a small L, Lord. This is the angel of the covenant. This is who we saw in Revelation 10. Whom you delight in, behold, he shall come, says the Lord of hosts. Now, verse 2. But who will abide in the day of his coming? Who shall stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire, a fuller's soap. He shall sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. He shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering in righteousness. So what does he do? He purges the vessels. Okay, he prepares the people, all right, to make an offering in righteousness. And then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant to Yahweh in the days of old as in the former years. In verse 5, and I will come near to you to judgment. I will be swift witness against the sorcerers, against the adulterers, against the false swearers, against those that oppress the hireling, the widow, the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger. Okay? And fear not me, says the Lord of hosts. Okay, so there's a list of things. Now, we can see in some of the list of these things, we'll see in his role in Revelation as well. So what do we have? We have this angel of the covenant, okay? He's coming from the temple, all right, in heaven. And as well, we saw before how he had a book, okay? In that book we see in verse 16. Then they that feared Yahweh spake one to another, and Yahweh hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahweh and that thought upon his name. Okay? So a book of memorial. Zikron. Okay? So we also saw him with the book, the small book, in his right hand. Okay? So there we see him in Malachi. Clearly, this is, as we go throughout the study, we'll connect more of the dots to prove his identity and his role. But there we can see his role as refining the priesthood. Okay? Now, he is not new, and let's look at his role as the angel of the covenant. As the angel of the covenant, this goes back to the Holy Covenant. The Holy Covenant with none other than Abraham, we see in Genesis chapter 22. Now, as we go here, let's remember that the quite often, if you study the angelic orders in the book of Genesis, etc., you'll quite often see a angel speaking directly for God. Okay, so it will say a malak, an angel. Okay, but the angel will say, "Thus says the Yahweh," or Yahweh says this, or it will answer directly for Yahweh instantly on the spot. But it's an angel; it's not Yahweh. Okay, so it's called the angel of Yahweh. Okay, it's not that it's all the angel of the covenant, but what they do is they can speak directly for Yahweh. Okay, and when it comes to Yahweh, they say me. They speak to the person in the first person. Amazing. And this is what we see in Genesis 22 when God provided, when God had Abraham offer Isaac. You guys know the story. And when Isaac stretched his hand and took the knife to slay his son, the angel of Yahweh, who? The angel. Not God, not Yahweh, but the angel of Yahweh called to him out of heaven. So we have an angel calling out of heaven, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. And he said, who? The angel of Yahweh. Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do him any harm. For now I know. Who? The angel. Now I know that you fear God, seeing that you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. From who? The angel. Okay? And again, verse 15, and the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven a second time. Okay? This is not Yahweh. This is the angel of Yahweh. And he said, by myself I have sworn, because you have done this thing, and not withheld your son, and blessing I will bless you, and multiplying your seed as stars of heaven and the sand of the sea, and your seed shall all the nations be blessed. So what is it? The covenant. Okay, so you have an angel of Yahweh speaking in this situation of Abraham's covenant. Okay, so we also find him in Judges. If we go to Judges chapter 2, in Judges chapter 2, we likewise see the angel of the covenant. Verse 1, and the angel of Yahweh came from Gilgal to Bochum and said, I made you to come out of Egypt. Who? The angel is saying this. I made you to come out of Egypt. I have brought you unto the land which I swore to your fathers. Who? The angel. I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you shall make no league with the inhabitants of the land. You shall throw down their altars, but you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this? Therefore I said, I will not drive out from before you, but you shall be as thorns. They shall be thorns in your side, as gods. They shall be a snare to you. And it came to pass when the angel of the Lord spake these words unto the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. And they called the name of the place Bochum, and they sacrificed there unto Yahweh. So, again, this is angel of Yahweh coming, and he's speaking about the covenant. I will never break my covenant with you. Okay? So he's speaking on behalf of Yahweh. Okay, so that's why we consider him to be the angel of the covenant, the very person we see in Revelation 10. All right. Let's also go to Daniel 12. We clearly see him in Daniel 12 as well. In Daniel chapter 12, we see, actually let's read one verse back. So Daniel 12 verse 4. But you, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book. Okay, remember before how the angel of the covenant told John, seal the seven thunders. Okay, that if other don't write that. Okay, and so here Daniel it says, shut up the words, seal the book, even till the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So it's similar to what we see with the thunders. Seal up the book until the time of the end. So it's only in the time of the end that we can understand what the seven thunders are. Okay? Now, here we see the angel of the covenant as it relates to time. Verse 5. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, one on this side of the bank of the river, and one on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long will be the end of these wonders? Okay? So he's standing on the river. And I heard the man clothed with linen, which was upon the waters of the river. And he held up his right hand and his left hand to heaven, and swore to him that lived forever, it shall be for a time, times and a half. Okay? A time, times and a half. What is that? 3.5 years. When he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, and all these things be accomplished. Okay, so clearly this is the same angel that, or same activity we can see with the angel in Revelation 10, where we saw him stand with his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the earth. Okay, and he said, how long will these things be? A time, times, and dividing of time. Okay, what is that? That's 3.5 years. Okay, we see 3.5 years as well. So the beast had power over the saints for a times, and a dividing a time. Okay, that's in Daniel 7. So those are 3.5 years, and these are other 3.5 years. So here we can see him. Okay, now he also said in Revelation 10 that in the days of the seventh trumpet, that means the seventh trumpet has days associated. Well, what are those days? Blessed is he that waits and comes to 1,335 days. We have other videos on that. We'll put links in the description field. We get into the detail of that prophecy in other videos, okay, because it's a lot there. It's not easy, okay. Now, while we're here in Daniel chapter 12, if we just go back one page, one chapter, we see him again. In Daniel 11, verse 22, and with the arms of a flood shall they be overthrown before him, and they shall be broken. Also, the prince of the covenant. Okay, so this is the prince of the covenant. This is the angel of the covenant in Revelation chapter 10. Now, what it says here, with the arms of a flood. Now, we saw before how he cast a millstone. Babylon is fallen. Okay, he also is connected with a flood. So maybe it could be, I'm not saying exactly like this, but when he casts that stone and it hits the water, it could be a tsunami it's talking about. Okay, but we'll see the flood in our next passage. So let's go there straight away. It's in Isaiah chapter 28. So in Isaiah chapter 28, we see this mighty and strong one. 28 verse 2. Behold, the Lord Yahweh has a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a stirring storm and a flood of mighty waters overthrowing. Okay, so remember we saw the prince of the covenant with an overflowing flood. Okay, here we see the same thing, a flood of mighty waters overflowing. And he shall cast down to earth with the hand. So again, he's casting down with the hand. Like we saw the great millstone. Okay? So this is the same person. This is a mighty and strong one. Okay? Now we also see the connection with the covenant when we go to verse 15. But you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we in agreement. With the overthrowing scourge shall it pass through, and it shall not come upon us, for we have made lies our refuge, and falsehood have we hid ourselves. Okay? Therefore, thus says Yahweh Elohim, behold, I lay in Zion a foundation stone, tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. that he believes shall not make haste. Judgment will I lay the line. Okay, so judgment, I will lay the line, and righteousness to the plummet. Okay, to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters overflow the hiding place. So again, we have the flood taking place. We have the waters and hail. Okay, so that's where we can see the connection of this this time period. The seventh trumpet talks about great hail in Revelation 11:19. It's talking about this flood, this tsunami. It may be more than one tsunami, but I'm just saying these are the things associated with this angel of the covenant. Okay, so there we see the line, the plummet, the cornerstone, which is Christ. Okay, so there he is in Isaiah 28. It's more. There's more there to it, guys. But for time's sake, we're gonna, just keep going here. Okay. And let's see. Okay. Well, great. So the next time we see him in Revelation is Revelation 14. Okay. Now, in Revelation 14, verse 14, I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud sat one like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Okay, so here we got our sickle. Okay, so he's seated on a cloud, one like the Son of Man. Okay, so you might think, oh, well, that's the Son of Man that's coming in the clouds. Okay, but notice what it says in verse 15, and another angel. Okay, so that's implying the person in the previous verse is an angel. Okay, and this is an angel, and we can see the evidence of that in, let's go to Mark 13 and verse 30. Mark 13 verse 30 tells us that when the reaping takes place, who does the reaping? No, Matthew 13. Not Mark. Matthew 13 and verse 30. 29, let's start there. Nay, least while you gather up the tares, you root up the wheat also, but let them grow together until the harvest. In that time of harvest, when I say, the reapers gather up the tares and bind them and burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So this is the time of the harvest, the time of weeping. Now who does the weeping? Verse 49. And it shall be at the end of the world, the angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from the just. So who does it? Angels. So who is this with the sickle and the crown? Revelation 14, it's an angel. And we consider this to be the angel of the covenant. Okay? So, now let's take a look at his message. We saw his message as a refiner in Malachi chapter 3. Now, let's look at his message in Revelation chapter 18. We get to Revelation chapter 18. We saw the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down and be no more heard of at all. Now, this is amazing, guys. In another video, we talked about the four angels' message. Okay? The four angels' message is the four angels that existed just before we saw the angel with the sickle. Okay, we saw the angel with the sickle, but in the previous verses, there were four angels, and they had different messages. Okay? So that we have that video, four angels' message. We're going to talk about it now. Now, quite often when you read the book of Revelation and you read it, it's a mystery. You don't know what it means. You don't know all of what it's saying. You don't know exactly what is written between the lines, okay? But the rest of the Bible, the rest of the book of Revelation fills in the gaps of how you interpret. What do these things mean? Okay, and this is amazing, guys. But when we go and we look at these the messages in Revelation 18:21 through 24, we can see that this angel with the millstone, okay, the angel of the covenant, he has the same message as the 4 angels in Revelation 14. Okay, so now at this part we have notes on this, and let's look at our notes. Okay, here's our notes. Now, what we're doing is we're very simply doing a comparison of Revelation chapter 14 and the 4 angels' message with the angel of the covenant in Revelation 18. And what we can see is that in Revelation 18, the angel of the covenant is reinforcing the message of the 4 angels' message. He's just doing so with slightly different language, which shows us in the last days how we can actually interpret what is going on here, okay? So, for example, when we go to Revelation 14 and verse 6, it says to fear God, give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him, okay? So, what the 4 angels' message, it's the reinforcing of worshiping the Most High God, worship him, okay? So those with the seal of God demonstrate their seal by their worship of him and the keeping of his commandments, as we'll see. Worship him that made the heavens, the earth, the seas, and the fountains of waters, right? So that is the first angel's message. And we see the same thing in Revelation 18, verse 20. Rejoice over her, okay? Heaven and holy apostles and the prophets. So it's this worship. Okay, worship, give glory to him. Now the reason for that is the opposite of worshiping him is worshiping the beast in the mark of the beast. That's angel number 3. Okay, but before we get there, let's go in our order. So angel number 1, fear God, give glory to him, worship him. Okay, angel of the covenant, rejoice. Okay, angel number 2, Revelation 14:8. Babylon is fallen, that great city, and she made the nations drunk with the wine of fornication. Okay, so Babylon is fallen is the message of the second angel, which exactly what we showed you before. The angel of the covenant is reinforcing that message, saying the same thing. Okay, with great violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more. So again, these are just going in direct order in Revelation 18, verse 20, 21, 22, as you can see. Okay? Now, as we get to the next one, we have the third angel's message. And it says, the third angel's message, if any man worship the beast, his image, and receive the mark on his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the Lamb, and the smoke of her torment ascends up forever and ever. Okay, who worship the beast, the image, and receive the mark of the beast. This is just making it very clear that the mark of the beast that took place in Revelation 13, it's eternal. Okay? And so I know many of you guys say, okay, Leland, what do I tell people and stuff like that? Keep in mind, we're the great army. And out of the great army proceeds fire and brimstone. Okay, we need to continually have this message of fire and brimstone. Have this message of the mark of the beast. Guys, I'm astonished in the recent videos I have. That's why I removed all the comments. How many people saying they're Christians, saying they can take the mark of the beast? I mean, it's unbelievable. They're just not believers to begin with, because they're going to take the mark of the beast. Okay. So what's our message to them? Okay. Fire and brimstone proceeds out of the mouth of the great army, all right? But if any man worship the beast and the image, receive the mark. Now, it doesn't say how you worship the beast, okay? It doesn't define how that actually works. How do you know if you're worshiping the beast or not? It doesn't say that in Revelation 14, okay? but we can see it. And with the angel of the covenant, his message in Revelation 18, it tells us exactly the meaning and interpretation. What it says is, the voice of harpers, musicians, the pipers, the trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in you. So what this is telling us is that there's idolatry. There's idolatry, and the idolatry and the works that people are doing are worshiping devils. They're not worshiping God. Remember how before we said, worship God, give glory to him. Well, the people are not worshiping God. They're worshiping the beast. This is beast worship. Okay, all the secular music is beast worship. Okay, that's why you see in Daniel chapter 3, what are they doing? You see harpers, musicians, pipers, trumpeters. Whenever the sound of the music was heard, the people bowed to the beast. Okay, so the majority of people are worshiping the beast by their jobs, their works of their hands. Okay, they're worshiping devils. And that's what we can see in Revelation 18:22, and then it continues. And then it talks about, and no craftsman of whatever craft shall be found any more in you. So what this means is, it's telling us that the people are worshiping with their jobs, with the work of their hands. They're worshiping devils. In Revelation chapter 9, we see this. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues repented not of their works of their hands, that they should not worship devils. So it's the works of the hands. That's the craftsmen. The work of their hands, the devils, the idols of gold, of silver, and brass, and stone, and of wood. Neither can they see, neither they spear, nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, pharmakia, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. Okay, so that's what we could see with the craftsmen. So the craftsmen, whatever craft shall be, the reason that there's no more craftsmen, the reason there's been shut down, is because the people are worshiping devils. And Babylon has fallen. Okay, that is what's going on, guys. All right, so what's taking place with the mark of the beast is beast worship. Okay, and the people want to continue to worship the beast, live for money, live for Babylon, okay? But judgment is coming on Babylon. It's already come. Now, this I want to really credit one of the subscribers. They pointed this out to me, and that's when I could piece together this whole thing, and this is amazing. Then it says, the light of the lamp shall shine no more. Now, what they said is that, and this is absolutely right, the light of the lamp, okay, is the Spirit of the Lord. It's in his innermost bellies in Proverbs 20, verse 27. So when you take the mark of the beast, the light of the lamp shines no more. That's what we could see with the God gene. We saw the woman say, I can't feel God. They killed God, right? The light was out. Okay, the light was out because they took the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. They took the mark of the beast. When they took the mark of the beast, the light of the lamp goes out. Then what it says is the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more. So what that means is the voice of Christ. Christ is the bridegroom. They no longer can hear from Christ. They can no longer hear from God. They've lost their connection. They've taken the mark of the beast. Okay? And of the bride of Christ. So the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride of Christ shall be heard no more. Now they're no longer in fellowship. Why? They took the mark. Then in the next verse it says, for by sorcery, which we know is pharmakia. So we know that it was the sorcery, the pharmakia, that put the light of the lamp out, that it shines no more. Okay? For by the pharmakia were all the nations deceived. They were deceived into taking the mark of the beast. That's what you see in Revelation 19:20. The beast and the false prophet, they deceived those into taking the mark. Okay? The people are deceived, and that's why this stuff is so important, guys, because eternity is at stake. All right? So that is amazing. The light of the lamp shall shine no more in you, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride. All right, now let's go to number 4. And number 4 is the fourth angel's message. Here is the patience of the saints in them that keep the commandments of God in the faith in Jesus. Okay? So it's a message to the saints. And we see the saints in Revelation 18:24. In her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints. So there's the four angels' message. Okay. Now in Revelation 14, as we mentioned, the next verse talks about the one that we saw on the white cloud. So because we have the four angels' message here, the four angels' message, that's why we consider the one when the white cloud not just to be any angel, but to be the angel of the covenant. It says, behold, a white cloud, and on it sat one like the Son of Man, having a head of crown of gold, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And again, we saw the mighty strong angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. Okay? And the same thing we saw in Isaiah 28 verse 2. He has a mighty and strong one, as a tempest of hail and a storm shall cast down to the earth. So guys, that concludes it. This is I will post the notes and our notes from yesterday on the seven thunders, marking time. And we'll, Lord willing, have more messages. And as we say, fear God, give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him that made the heavens, the earth, the seas, and the fountains of waters. Amen.